For this story, I've travelled to South Shields on the northeast coast, to the Marsden Grotto Inn, famous for its cave bar, dark tales of smugglers, murder, and of course, its ghosts. And here we are, on the beach at Marsden Bay at South Shields. Behind me is the famous Marsden Grotto cave bar. It was built in 1782 by Jack Bates, who came down from Northumberland. He was a lead miner that moved down to these parts to find work in the quarry just up the road. Because Jack Bates was an explosive expert, he then decided to blast caves deep into the cliffs, and from there he built the Marsden Grotto. By 1792, Jack Bates and his wife Lizzie had passed on. The grotto then for a number of years lay empty and derelict until 1826, when Peter Allen and his wife Lizzie took up the residence there. It was during this time when one of the most famous ghost stories of the smuggler and his tankard occurred. Okay, the first ghost story we're going to talk about occurred many, many years ago. And the character involved was called Gibbering John, or John the Gibber, as he is locally known. Gibber is an old word that means to snitch or to dob, and that's exactly what John the Gibber did. When there was going to be some contraband coming into shore, and the smugglers and the looters were going to take consignment of it, they decided to tell him when the consignment was coming and where it was going to be. If the excise men turned up and seized the goods, they would then know that it was John that snitched on them, and that's exactly what happened. Because of this, when John walked into the pub for a drink one night, he got pistol whipped and knocked unconscious. He was then forced into a barrel and then raised up into the high rafters of the cave that's still inside the Marsden Grotto pub, and it was there he was left to starve to death, and that's exactly what happened. And to this day, it is still said that every now and again you can hear his moans and his groans echoing throughout the caves here down at Marsden Bay. Another of the grotto's famous ghost stories, if not the most famous ghost story of all, regards a young smuggler that was in the bar having a drink one night. He had one too many, and he was sort of approached by this strange man. This strange man started talking to him and befriending him. He was buying him drinks. The more that the smuggler drank, the more loose his tongue became. The landlord at the time, which was Peter Allen, was getting a little bit concerned about this, because Peter Allen was indeed a friend of the local smugglers, by all accounts. As the night wore on, this young lad began to tell all the tales and give away all the secrets to the smuggling activities that were going on. As it transpires, this strange man who had befriended the smuggler turned out to be a customs and excise man. Upon finding this, the young smuggler said about this man and hit him on the head. He then subsequently ran out to the Marsden Grotto pub and along the beach, northwards towards this column. The excise man hurriedly followed him out, drew his gun and shot the man squarely in the back. He is also said to be one of the ghosts of Marsden Grotto. The tankard, which the smuggler had been drinking from, was said to have been nailed onto the wall and hung up. And from that moment on, it was said that if anybody drinks from that tankard, there would be a curse. And a funny story in relation to the tankard, it is said that if you fill it up and leave it on the bar at night, by morning time, it's empty. And legend has it, it's the ghost of the smuggler. It's come back to have a drink out of his tankard. And there you have it. There's the ghosts and legends of the Marsden Grotto. Now tomorrow we're going to head off to the sleepy village of Whitburn, where we are going to visit the grave of Peter Allen and his wife Lizzie. I'm here at Whitburn Parish Church to visit the final resting place of the main character in our story. So, here we are at the grave of one Peter Allen, landlord of Marsden Grotto Cave Bar. He died in 1849, aged 51, and it's Peter Allen that is said to be one of the many ghosts that's said to reside at the Marsden Grotto Cave Bar.